I'm Margaret Koolman from Astrology.com. Looking at the chart of the new moon in Aries on the 14th of April. The sun went into Aries on the 20th, 21st of March, and ever since then there will have been an energy of wanting to get going, wanting to do things and move and have an effect. But not until the moon reaches the sun, both in Aries, do we get the sense of new beginnings that really fires the Aries energy up. There's two ways of going at things, Aries style. The one tends to be with the head down, going for it, having decided on the direction. Often much faster than anybody else would recommend, desirous of getting to the end result. And the way that shows is that we put far more energy into something than we actually have spare, and can end up burning out. The other way is to be in the moment, which is where Aries is really alive. When the bright awareness of Aries is focused in the moment, there's an adaptability to the needs of the moment as one goes along. Ideally, there is a need for a direction, and therefore one could say a goal, but the goal is not to be achieved. Rather, the direction is to be held, because goals change as we go along, in the sense of we don't know what will be appropriate in the future until we get to it. Aries is very good at adapting as it goes along to the needs of the moment, as long as the goal is held in place to keep the direction. So ideally one would hope with the Aries movement, Aries uprush of energy, to work in short bursts with gaps between to set back and smell the roses. With Mars in Leo this month, those gaps in the Aries outbursts can be full of fun, keeping the positivity, lifting the spirits, making the work enjoyable. This way, every break an Aries takes is an absolute assurance that the energy will be renewed. The main aspect this month is a return of the Saturn opposition to Uranus, which began last September. Saturn is in Virgo again now, and Uranus remains in Pisces, but at the very, very end. So it is a reworking, in a sense, of whatever was going on last September. The first time you get an aspect, when it's going to come 3 times, is the setting out of the situation where our learning will take place, for each person different. And the fact that Saturn has gone back into Virgo to remake the opposition with the same qualities as September, it shows us that whatever we thought we'd dealt with then, we've still got a bit more to do. The last opposition will be in July, the end of July, but by then Uranus will be just into Aries and Saturn will go forward again just into Libra. So the quality of the opposition will be quite different. So it's as though we're going back to rework something and turn it into something else. The completion is the something else. What tends to come up between that Pisces to Virgo opposition, and particularly with the Saturn being the one in Virgo, is a tendency to find fault. Quite often it is a problem, and there is a need to make change and adjustment. The problem that we can get in terms of making things happen or actually dealing with the problem is that we judge ourselves to be wrong, and it kind of undermines our ability to get on and do anything about it. And this is where Uranus pulling against the Saturn is suggesting, no, I don't want to do that. And Saturn saying, yes, this is what you must do, but I don't want to. I feel trapped by that. You have to do this. No, I wish to be free. And finding this dilemma, so that part of you wants to get on and part of you doesn't want to get on. The completion in July will be an acknowledgement of freedom, I think, as Uranus goes into Aries. Well, and I'll talk more about that in the coming months, but the Saturn going forwards into Libra again, it's like, well, let's just see what's necessary. Let me see if there's someone who can help me. Let me see if what can be done will actually be so lovely that I want to do it. And I think this is where our learning needs to be, perhaps this month, is in letting go of that angst between I ought to, I should, and I don't want, not making a big deal about decisions for the future. You know, this is the final and absolute and I've got to commit to it. Not doing that, but just settling quietly and being just with the facts, because Saturn delivers us the facts. It doesn't ask us to judge them. When we look at the facts without judgment, it's a more peaceful thing to do. And out of that peacefulness, we can choose what we would like to do. And then gently follow through, giving ourselves gaps, or even, perhaps, Aries-style short bursts of doing what we want to do and giving ourselves gaps. And this way it's a naturalness between the pull of the Saturn and the pull of the Uranus. The freedom, the sense of freedom to choose and re-choose, and to keep adjusting that choice as we go along. There are more comments on this new moon chart on my website. Open your eyes, wide with wonder, a child in an unknown place, exploring the energy. See the colours in your surroundings, some bright and clear with emotional messages for you, some subtle, merging, humming quietly. See the shapes and lines, the joints and interfaces of object to surrounding or background. Hear the hum of your computer, the throbbing of blood through your ears, your breathing. Beginner's mind, in the moment, not strung out and dying between past and future, but immortal now. A child in heaven, eyes open wide with wonder.